I'm really, really happy to have persons here with me who have been part of our Good Gas Mondays community since we just started in about 2017. So we're almost 4 years old, because I think it was somewhere in the halfway path of 2017 that we started. So somewhere in the halfway path of 2021, we're going to get to our 4-year mark. And I just want to say thank you for the good energy that is always in this space, you know, and it's been a roller coaster ride with me. If you're in my community long enough, you know that sometimes, you know, things are great, and then another time, world not treating me so fairly. I'm making some mistakes, some blunders, and some boo-boos. I'm failing at some things, and I'm trying to figure it out. And while, you know, I can't share every single solitary thing that's happening, I try my best to be as candid and open as possible, you know, while maintaining some amount of privacy and discretion. But you all see it. You know, if it's not a headline in the newspaper, it's something on your newscast, just going over what's going on in my life at the time, and, you know, what's working and what's not working. So you have been here long enough to see that there is no such thing as perfect with me. And I would never try to sell you or portray anything other than what it really is. And the only reason why people don't see me in breakdown mode is because I try to practice good emotional hygiene. You know, it makes sense to process the pain, be honest about what you're feeling, go through all the phases of those emotions, whether it is disappointment, whether it is failure, whether it's regret, whether it's fear, recognizing it, looking it dead in the eye, allowing it to be felt and understood. And then your next step is to decide, well, what you're going to do about it, and not sitting there and allow it to define you. So don't think that those moments don't happen to me. They happen just as often as it would happen to anybody. But a big part of how I handle that, and I talk about that in a separate Good Gas Mondays live. It's also on my YouTube page about my valley toolkit. When I get in the valley, in the low moments, there are some things that I do. And I shared that a couple of weeks ago with my community. And if you're ever having any challenges in relation to your hardship, you know, what do you need to do while you're going through a painful situation? What do you need to be thinking? What are the habits and the practices that are healthy enough to get you through it? You can listen to that episode of the podcast, which is on YouTube. So you can actually type in Good Gas Mondays, Krystal Tomlinson, or Good Gas Mondays Valley Toolkit, and you'll be able to access that episode. It has been very helpful to so many members of my community. I've seen the feedback, seen the comments, and I just wanted to let you know, if you didn't know before, that resource is also there for you. Now, you're joining us in the second in a 4-part series called Harvest Principles. And I'm sharing these 4 harvest principles because I think nature gives us a great example of what is required of us to see our life flourish. We would have invested time, energy, money, and other kinds of resources in the key quadrants of our lives, whether it's our relationships, or financial health and well-being, self-care, or professional spaces. We would have invested in that. And we're now looking at the returns. You know, in your reap season, your harvest season, you're reaping the fruit of what you have sown, and you're just not liking the harvest. You don't like what you see. And for many of us, that harvest or assessment of the harvest usually happens at the end of the year or the start of a new year, where you look back at your life and you're saying, but not never bloom over here, so. But the fruit not ripe good over here, so. But me think me that gonna get 10 pound of sweet potato and the harvest come out to 3 pound. You know, how am I not seeing the result and the reward in my life? What am I doing wrong? And I'm looking at a new year now. I want better fruit. I want better outcomes. I want more success. I want to see a beautiful garden, a beautiful life. What am I supposed to do to get a better harvest? And I consider that analogy about a harvest and fruits blooming. I think there is no better example than the farming analogy, because farmers have to work for the harvest. Mother Nature is going to do her thing. You know, the laws of nature and the universe are going to do their thing. But the farmer has such a critical role to play. And last week we looked at role number 1 of the farmer, understanding that the first principle is that you reap what you sow. That's principle number one. And of course, you can go back to watch that episode on YouTube or access it through our podcast. You reap what you sow, which means that a farmer has to be very deliberate about choosing a seed, understanding the season that plot of land is in, what that plot of land can accommodate, what is the right seed to plant at this time in this season, and then take the action of planting the seed. So you have to know what you want. You have to know if now is the time to start working on it. And you have to look around to see if the environment, the temperature, the space, the soil that you're about to plant this seed, this energy and effort in is appropriate. And if it's not, you have to do something about it. If it's not your season to plant, well, figure out what season you're in and do what that season requires. If I know the right seed to plant right now, continue to do your research. Check, explore, pray, fast, whatever you have to do to get the discernment to know what seed to plant, you go and do it. So we spoke at length about that last week. You know, you reap what you sow, so be careful what you're sowing. You can't cheat the harvest and expect to get out of it what you never put in. Now, the second principle, and I shared it on my page earlier today, give the seed what it needs. Give the seed what it needs. That's harvest principle number 2. Give the seed what it needs. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with the process of germination for seeds, what it takes for a seed to actually begin to bloom. So you drop the seed in the earth, and then it pushes out some kind of a stem or something that breaks through the earth, and then you can actually see the stem of the plant coming up, and you see leaves, and then it gets taller and bigger and thicker. I don't know if you are familiar with that process. Sometimes you can go to, in Jamaica, you can go to Rada, you can go to, I think, I can't remember the name of the other space, but there are 2 places you can go to actually get seedlings. So they have done the work of planting the seed and allowing it to germinate. So when you get it, all you have to do is just water it for it to continue to grow. But there's some things that the seed needs before it gets to proper germination, for the real talent and potential of the seed to jump out. When you see a seed go into the earth, and then you see something squeeze and come up through the dirt, there is so much that has gone into making sure that germination can happen. So much. And I want to explore what those things are. As simple as they're going to be in terms of scientific reference, I want you to apply that now in a very tactical and relevant way to your life, because you know your life. I don't know your life. But this analogy will help you to figure out what the seed needs right now. So someone will drop some seed. You know, we do the work, we look at the soil and say, yeah, man, this is the right soil for this seed. This climate, this is the time of year to plant that seed. And you drop the seed in there. And you're not seeing nothing come out and break the earth. Like nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. What you must do, forget about it, walk away, leave it, and go try another seed? Or is there something that you could still do? Is there something that you could still do to maybe get something out of the seed? So you need it to germinate, you need to break through the earth, you need to come up and start to grow, and maybe not even the breakthrough you're not getting. Right? Yeah, wait on the breakthrough, and the breakthrough now come. Here are some things that seeds need, and you can think about your life and see where in your life one or all of these things are required now for there to be a breakthrough. Light. We understand the process of photosynthesis. Did I just bite my tongue? Photosynthesis. We understand the process of photosynthesis. Light. Do you have your work, your vision, your dream, your goal shrouded entirely in darkness? Can remember saying enough light it need I know. Little bit of light will do, but light is needed. There is energy that comes from light hitting a thing. Whether it is hitting your seed, whether it is hitting your talent, hitting your business, hitting your brain, the words coming out, once little light touch upon it, it changes the dynamic of it entirely. The center of our solar system is light. The sun. Light. The fact that it is light that is so critical to a tree growing to give us oxygen. Understand, say, the breath that you're breathing right now in and out of your body requires light. Light is a critical part of human existence and our ability to grow. And the plants have taught us that. So what do you have that you have chosen to bury under a bushel? We know that song from in primary school, preschool, high school maybe. You're singing it. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Hide it under a bushel? No, I'm going to let it shine. What is it that you have as a talent that you have insisted the best place for it is to keep it hidden and in darkness? Because nothing about life affirms that approach. Things must be brought to light. Bring it into the light of day. Let your light so shine before men that they may praise your Father in heaven. They may see your good work and praise your Father who is in heaven. Light. The light of the world. So if you're looking at a seed that you have planted with the best of intention, the greatest ambition, the deepest amount of faith, what light are you shining on it? Now, some of that light can be talking about it, and you have to know, which type of light you need to bring to the seed. Only you can know that. But some of the light means talking about it, acknowledging that this is something I want, and I am declaring it to be so. You can talk about it with your friends. You can talk about it with your family. Maybe you don't want anybody around to know about it. Yes, you can still talk about it daily through meditations and affirmations and the power of word. Just beginning to say the things. I am building a business that is going to flourish and generate income to feed and support my family. I am going back to school next semester because I'm looking actively for a course I can afford and for the opportunity to allow me to pay my way through. I am going to eliminate this debt that has been following me for 10, 15, 20 years. I am going to move out of this matches box and this hellhole and go into a space that is comfortable for me and my children. Put some light on it. Put some light on it. And a part of that light means acknowledging it and talking about it. Some of us are so afraid to say the thing we want. Listen to me. You may not believe in the verbatim stories and reflections and parables and writings of the Bible. But let me tell you something about the power of that book. If you believe in a divine energy and a creator. The book says, the creator open them mouth. And I don't imagine say them have teeth and tongue and lips, right? But this was a lesson that we were supposed to learn. The creator said, let there be light, and there was light. The book never said the creator pull for some nitrogen and pull for some carbon and then pull for some oxygen and twist the three of them together and plot it out and made light. And that's it saying. Creator said, let there be light, and there was light. Just let it be, and it was. And the lesson there is the power of your word is enough to create a thing and make it a reality. Just to say it and declare it and believe that it is so. Nobody else has to believe when you say it. You don't have to even say it for other people to hear. But you must be bold enough to open your mouth and form a sound where say, yeah, it goes so. And I believe say it goes so. You must get comfortable saying that. And so many of us don't even have the courage and the confidence to say the thing what we want. But you expect it to come. Or it will come and you not call it. Right? If you believe in the law of attraction, a big part of that law is declaring that it is so, it is done, and it's on its way. Like once you send out that word in the universe, it go find the thing where you tell it to go find and bring it back to you. It's almost like you're creating a magnet to pull that thing towards you. So one of the things I'm trying to talk about are sickness and death and illness. It's a coming up. But me not gonna call it. It must work on its own a timetable because me nah call it. Me not depend on my speed dial. Me don't know the number in my phone book. I'm not calling it because I don't want that. That's not a mission I want to send my words to fulfill. That's not a prophecy I'm trying to manifest. So I'm very careful about what I say. Even in my moments of anger and disappointment, pain, fear, me not say certain things. It cannot leave my lips because I understand the power of words. And a little bit of things me say me want in a life, and I don't know how it coming. But me I put some light on it, me I talk about it, me I bring it into day, into existence, into reality. And it forward. And when it forward, me start panic. And that's another harvest principle we'll explore. Because it forward, I never make the space in my life for it. I was saying it, you know. I know I wanted it and I knew it was possible. But I never knew it would come so fast. I never prepare myself for it. So to reach me, I'm going to have no room to put it. And then we get frantic again now because I have to make room for the thing I said I always wanted or was desiring or started to call. Open your mouth and say it. At least to yourself in the mirror in the mornings. What is it that you are asking for? What is it that you have planted a seed and looking to see it reap and bring some kind of fruit and bounty and harvest for you? What is it? Get comfortable acknowledging and talking about it. Now, other things for them to get light requires you bring it before people. It could be a big project that you have that could change lives in the inner city. Could be a business plan that you have that could provide jobs in your community and just change the face of an entire country. But that requires you bringing that into the light, meeting with investors, meeting with persons who could possibly give you a loan, carrying the idea into the bank, go down a DBJ and ask them what resources they have to help. And again, the DBJ example is relevant to people in Jamaica, the Development Bank of Jamaica, which offers these kinds of support services for people who have business ideas and need to create a formal plan to present. But you have not chosen to bring it into the light. You have this business idea from you're in high school and you're watching everybody else start their businesses or something like that business. And you sit down and say, "Cho, things just not happen for me." Bring the thing into the light now. When you sit down and you're reasoning with your friends or some new colleagues and associates, discuss these ambitions that you have. Bring it into the light so that somebody can hear it and go, I'm interested in that. I would partner with you on that. You need additional support and help there. I am willing to help you there. You have to call the help. You have to call the help because nobody's walking around knowing what is in your mind and just looking in your eyes and say, "You look like you need support to open up this new school. You look like you need support to open up this car mart. You look like you need support to build this restaurant." They don't know. They simply do not know. And unless you bring it into the light, they can't support you because they don't even know what support you need. So bring it into the light. The other thing that the seed is going to need, if it is going to break through from under that soil, water. When I talk about water, I want you to consider it nourishment. Because the water contains literally the breath for that seed, for that plant, for that tree to be sustained. So it needs light and it also needs water because water is life, not just for human beings, but for the trees too. It needs water, it needs nourishment. There's a thirst that has to be quenched. The dirt and the soil, as good as it is for the seed, it's going to dry out sometimes. It's going to dry out and need some support from the H2O. It's going to need some of those particles. What is it? The 2 atoms of hydrogen and the 1 atom of oxygen. It supplies something. Biologists, chemists, physicists, tell me if I got the breakdown right. Tell me if I got the breakdown right. Right? It needs that. There's something in those molecules that stimulates the growth and nourishes the seed and the plant to become the kind of tree that you want it to be for your harvest season. So you have to water it. You know what that means? There's a phrase that I came upon a couple months ago, and I'm trying to rephrase it. I hope I don't miss the essence of it because I can't remember it verbatim. But it says, Pray like it depends on God, and work like it depends on you. Pray like it depends on God, and in addition to that, and work like it depends on you. As the farmer in your life, you get up in the morning and you look over your life and you see the plot of land that you have. You know the seeds that you have planted. You know the trees that you want to grow. You know the time certain things will take to bloom and come to harvest. You have a plan for when the harvest reach, how you're going to share it up, who you're going to sell this to, who you're going to give this to, who you're going to donate that to, how much of it you're going to put on your own table to consume, to drink, to eat. You know all of that. And you stand, you look at the land and you say, yes, man. In another few months, in another few years, I will have this tree. I will have this fruit. I will have this bloom and this harvest. I'm going to just wait on God to send the rain, because that is enough water. I prayed about it, and God is going to send me the rain to water the plants in my life. Will God send rain? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's part of the human contract. You know, you're here on this earth here. We're going to need to have rain. Okay, so we're going to have rain. You're going to get sun. Going to get rain. Sometimes you're going to get a little winter, a little snow, right? It's part of it. Rain is going to come. But you also have an obligation to get up and water the plants. So figure out what the routine is going to be. Either you're going to do it every morning, every afternoon, every night, once a week, every 2 weeks, every month, every quarter, biannually. You know the calendar and the schedule that you need to water and stimulate the growth and nourish those seeds for them to break through. And while part of the duty is to trust that nature will take her course and send her seasons, there is no guarantee when it is going to rain, for how long, and if you'll get the right amount of water that you needed anyways. What I'm talking about now, blessings. There are persons who will pass through the farm and bless you up, come into your life and offer you real support, solid encouragement, good mentorship, guidance, invest. They are the rain. You know, you don't have a right to them. You can't demand that they show up and serve you. But they will come. They will come. But can your farm, can your life survive on the charity or the calendar of nature? That alone is not sufficient. So you will have to get up now and do the work. So when you're going to get up and water the seed, you open the bank account, you start it off with the minimum balance that them tell you needed, and you leave it there. Is that enough? You know, is that enough? You say you want your financial life to prosper. Is that enough? That's where you're going to stop and see if the bank gives you some kind of return on the investment because you have the money sitting in there. Maybe they give you 1 cent for the year. Is that enough? No. There's some other things that you will now have to do to water the seed. It means being consistent and deciding that every salary that you earn, every paycheck, everything that comes in as income, you're going to cut out your 10% and put it over there in the bank account. The bank is going to give you some blessings, some rain will fall over there, you know. Absolutely. But a part of that working like it depends on you is setting up a system and a routine to continuously water the seed. So you bring it into the light, and maybe bringing it into the light means opening this bank account. You decide that you want to change your financial future. You want to change your financial realities. Okay, we brought that into the light. We went, we did the research, we checked which banks and financial institutions are most appropriate. And we said, all right, I'm going to use this financial institution. I'm going to start with the minimum balance. Good. We brought it into the light. How are you watering it? How are you watering it? Discipline and consistency. That's what's required. So you have to be disciplined enough to set up the system, look at it to see what is required. How often do you have to water this seed? And then be consistent in doing the work, doing the dirty work. Because sometimes you head out to water and you realize that something is kind of off at the root, maybe too much water. Too much water is at the root now, and it's going to rot the actual plant. The thing that you're doing, thinking it's good, is now damaging it because the volume is too much. Sometimes you go there and you realize that, boy, I'm going to need to beef up the nutrients for this plant with some manure, some compost. I'm going to take up some dirty, stinking something and understand that there's good in this thing, the difficulty, the hardship, the failure, there's good in this thing, right? I'm going to put my hand in it now and do some dirty work and make sure that the plant has all the nutrients it needs to grow and grow well. So you're going to water it. You have to measure how much water this particular seed needs, because some seed need less, some seed need more. But you have to be wise enough. But you do the research already, because in the beginning we said, you know that you're going to reap what you sow. You have to be careful and clear about what you're sowing. What is the right thing to sow? What does this seed require? And can I manage to sustain the seed, and you plant it? And then, having done your research and prepared yourself mentally now, when it's time for you to water it, when it's time for you to add the compost and the manure and any other thing that is needed, you'd have already known it is required. It's now for you to show up and do it consistently. Because apart from reaping what you sow, you have to give the seed what it needs. And if you don't give the seed what it needs, there's a process in farming, a phase in the germination process that's called dormancy, where the seed actually just sit down looking like, what my light? Want more water? You want me to germinate, you want me to break through, and you're not giving me what I need? Well, until you figure out how to give me what I need, I'm just sitting here waiting on you, because you're the farmer. You're the farmer, and you have the job. So here I am sitting down in the dirt waiting on you to give me what I need, and the seed will actually be dormant. Now, the seed can come out of the phase of dormancy if you give it what it needs, but if you don't give it what it needs, it dies. All the potential, all the capacity that was in the seed, you lose it. And it's wasted. Now the seed don't feel no way. Seed not gonna malice you. But you know what it took to get the seed, to prepare the soil, to plant it. And then you waste the potential because you did not act and allow the seed to get into a space of dormancy. So look again over your life. Where is dormancy setting in? You're taking it for granted that the seed knows what to do, and it's just gonna do it. Seed just gonna do the seed. We put the seed in the dirt, man. We're not gonna fall and wet it up, man. It must grow. And the seed is sitting there like, So you don't want to be consistent, you don't want to be disciplined, you don't want to do your thing. Okay, see me here. You are watch me and me I watch you. 2 hours I make 4, right? The seed is waiting on you to give it what it needs. And so for too many of us, we have extra work because you plant it, don't give it what it needs, and you have to start over. So you're doing the work twice. So it wastes time. It also wastes resources because you plant it, you give it light, but you don't give it any water. Or you give it water, you didn't give it any light. So you waste the water by not adding the other complements like light, and the seed again don't germinate, don't break through. So now you wasted the water, wasted the time, the energy, the effort, and you have to go back and do it again and find some more water and light. Do you have time to waste? The investments that you're making around your career, around your relationships, around your finances, around your business proposals, and the transitions that you want to make to take your life to the next level, do you have the time to waste? If you don't have the time to waste, then you have to get the discipline. You have to get the discipline to give the seed what it needs now. Because you can't get the seed when it's dead. You have to give the seed what it needs now. And you have some seed now where if I hear them say somebody's trying, if you're from Jamaica, you know them talk about somebody being a trying youth. She is a trying girl. Usually what it means is that no matter the circumstances, this person always just finds a way to just get through it. There are some seeds like that. There are some seeds like that. But if you cripple it in that process of germination, right? If you make it harder for it to break through, when it does break through, the thing weak out. It had to do so much work in those early days when you were supposed to help it. The idea, whatever it is that you were supposed to really water and nourish, you force the seed to have to nourish itself and find its own path. And it breaks through exhausted, malnourished, deficient in the nutrients that it needs. So while it breaks through, there's no guarantee it's going to last very long. And the longevity of something requires, is advanced by what you're putting in the early stages. But you have to invest in the early stages when it matters the most. So as a mother, one of the things I understood was the importance of breastfeeding. I understood that while we had options in terms of formula and feeding that you could make in a bottle and give to your child, that is your last resort. That is if your body is unable to produce what they call liquid gold, which is breast milk. Nothing is as powerful as breast milk. And a child thrives. Their immune system, their ability to develop resistance to all kinds of attacks from germs and conditions of their environment. It boosts the growth, it advances the brain development. So yes, you can mix the feeding, and the child will survive on the feeding, But if you want a child to really break through strong, right, from newborn to toddler, you want them to break through strong. The best thing that you can give them as nourishment is breast milk. And you only give them something else if you have no other option. So I am grateful that I was able to make that for my daughter, because I understood how important it was. So when you realize that the best thing to give your seed or seedling in the early stages is the nourishment, is the light, is the right kind of compost and manure to support its growth and development, and don't do it. And you see the trees start growing, it looks shaky. The limb them feeble. The root now hold good in the ground. As little breeze blow, it want turn over. Then you want to come with all of the resources to pour on it. It might sustain it, but think about the quality of the tree that you're able to grow. If you do it right in the first place, find your discipline. We're in February of 2021. We have the seeds that we know we're supposed to plant. Some of us have started. We get a nice little jump start. The new year energy give us a vibe. It give us a buzz. It give us an energy. Everybody starting on some new goals, and that's the vibe in the room. And you can jump on that momentum and start. Nothing is wrong with that. But you see, when the momentum dies down, you have to find a way to keep the discipline. Because if you don't do it when it matters the most, and try to add the nutrients when the tree don't start grow already, I waste the resources and I waste time, because the opportunity was in the beginning to get it right. So are you giving your seed what it needs to grow? Harvest principle number 2. Give the seed what it needs. And the great thing about it is, if you do it right in the beginning, you don't have to do the same amount of work ever again. In our gladiator group this morning, one of our gladiators shared a powerful quote. And she said, if you train hard now, or you work hard in training and you bleed less on the battlefield. Sacrifice in training and you bleed less on the battlefield. It's the same kind of concept. If you get it right now, it's a lot less work to sustain and maintain it. But the foundation is so important. Someone says they're listening to this while breastfeeding. Bless you. Bless you and bless baby. Get it right now, and you don't have to do all of the additional work and the additive and finding the shortcuts and finding the ways to boost and to boost and to boost, because you got it right in the beginning. This is your beginning. January, February, March, first quarter of the year is the beginning. What seed you're planting, and are you giving the seed what it needs to grow? The other element, the other thing that your seed needs is the right temperature. Is the right temperature. farmers will know what we're talking about now when we mention germination. And that's why I said in the beginning, you don't always need a lot of light, just the right amount of light. Just the right amount of light. And you can get the result that you want. But you have to check the temperature. You have to be checking the temperature. So some of us call it reading the room, being aware of what is required of you in this moment. What's the most appropriate response and behavior? You plant the seed, you water the seed, you give the seed light, but the temperature, the environment, the energy, the mood around this thing is not appropriate. Either you're doing it in haste and in a hurry. So you're not paying attention to what you're doing. You just do it for the sake. Oh, I need to add salt. Let me drop some salt. You're not paying attention to see if, well, yesterday you add some salt and you come back and you still see some on the surface. So maybe you don't need to add more. You just need to make sure that your aim is better so it goes where it needs to go. Check the temperature. How you're approaching a situation. The temperament that you bring into a situation can also waste all the water and all the light because the energy wrong. Another example of good and bad temperature. You say you're investing in your education. Let's use education as an example. You're going back to school. You want to get that degree. You want to get that diploma. You want to get the master's. You want to get the PhD. You're getting the light. You're getting the water. You investigate the right soil and you plant that seed and you are watering and giving the light and watering and giving the light. But you see the motivation and the vibe and the energy behind it isn't positive. So sometimes we're doing things to spite people. Like somebody say, I can't do it. I don't want it, but them say, I can't do it. And look how I'm going to do it. So you're investing energy in a thing, not because you value the seed that is being germinated, not because you value the blossom and the fruit that is going to bloom. But you just want to make sure, say them say, think they couldn't plant apple tree? Look how plant apple tree. And now watch, want to now see, To prove the point, to take revenge, to disappoint somebody who's sending bad energy and I throw them out on you. While that is good reason to start, right? Because sometimes that's the motivation we need to know that nobody don't believe, so we can do it and it give an extra edge. And you say, all right, I did a jam foot panic, but you see, my sister wanna vote against me, right? My sister wanna chant against me. My sister wanna get up at daytime and wanna put in the mouth for my thing, all right? But straighten up now and shift gear. And you shift gear. Take yourself to another level. You see, if you're still depending on the bad energy to fuel you, when you get to the next level where you can't hear the bad energy again, what are you going to do? Sit down there and wait for some more bad energy to come? The temperature is wrong. So you're not going to be consistent enough in giving the water and giving the light unless you have people who have a thought against you. People who are bidding against you and betting against you. You need them to go on your own life farm and do the work. So them in charge of your life. Like if them not bad mind you, you're not going to do the work. If them not bet against you, you're not going to do the work. If them not want to see you fail, you're not going to do the work. The temperature is wrong. And if you bring the wrong energy into that experience of farming, of investing in your goal, of nurturing the seed with the wrong temperature, it will also fail. So look again. Where in my life have I started this thing? I may water it and may get light, but the vibe, the reason why I do it, the motivation, the energy is just wrong. And that's why it not do properly. That's why it can't give me the result and the outcome I want. Because I not carry the right energy and temperature in the space. So you're doing the right thing. You're probably even doing it the right way. But you're not doing it with the right why. And that is so important. Purpose. 2021 is the year of purpose for me. Purpose, and that may I choose. What's the reason? What's the purpose? What's the purpose? What is the purpose? What purpose does this fulfill? So yeah, me like watermelon, but I'm not going to plant watermelon because I hear some people over there say I can't plant watermelon. That's fine. If I didn't want to plant watermelon, I would have learned how to plant watermelon. So if you think I not plant it because I can't plant it, believe what you want to believe now. Because all if I start planting it, you're going to tell me, say, and a real watermelon I plant, or some watermelon I get from China, where it half grow and start there already. Right? And a real watermelon, or some apple which you paint up, and I call it watermelon. No matter what me do, you're not going to believe in me. So me not going to waste my energy, focus, time, water, light, soil, seed selection. I pick watermelon to try to satisfy you. What is the purpose? If you stop saying I can't plant watermelon, when we start plant watermelon, you're going to say I can't plant pear. I can't plant apple. I can't plant okra. I can't plant. You can just keep on and find something where I can't plant. I'm just go plant it for sure so I can't plant it. No. What's the purpose? What's the purpose? The market no want no more watermelon. And you are convinced me to plant watermelon. For what? And you're not going to buy it when it's there. When it starts blossom and bloom, you are not going to celebrate it neither. So me don't want the watermelon. You don't want the watermelon. And me going to plant the watermelon. No, man. Other things that I for plant. Come on, man. We don't have enough soil for waste. We just drop anything in the dirt where you say you want to see if we can do it. What do you think this is? It's not a game. It's not a game. So what is the purpose? Have to be clear on the purpose. So I'm thinking on that even now, having started the year, identified the goals, set some habits and some routines in place for the rest of this quarter, you know. May I test it out to make sure if I'm doing things the right way, if I'm doing things for the right reason, if what I say I want to see manifest, I'm actually giving it the water it needs, and if I'm giving it the light it needs, and if I'm giving it the right kind of temperature and energy for it to bear and bloom, if I put it in the right soil, if I jump the gun and I try bear this fruit too early and it's not the season for it. I have to ask myself those questions even as I am watering. And the other two principles of the harvest, the third principle is actually going to deal with recognizing, because sometimes in farming you make some mistakes, you know, right? And you have to take an action. You have to decide what you're going to do when you realize that there's an error. So next week we'll look at principle number 3 of the harvest, but tonight the focus is on principle number 2. Give the seed what it needs. You know what you want to bear at the end of this season, this crop rotation, right? You know, this is your sugarcane season, all right? And you know how much sugarcane you want to take off of the plantation at the end of the season. So give the seed what it needs. You know how much mango you want to pick off of it. Give the seed what it needs. You know how much watermelon you need. Give the seed what it needs. You know how much pumpkin you give the seed what it needs. You know how much tomato you look for. Give the seed what it needs. And those things are light, water, and the right temperature. Bring it into the light, own it, declare it, believe it, place it there for it to be seen, for it to be invested in, for it to be supported. Sometimes are you alone are going to support it, but look on it now, talk over it now, acknowledge it now. You want this thing that you won't even talk about, bring it into the light. Give it the water, the nourishment, the nutrient, whatever it needs, the H2O that it will need to thrive. Give it what it needs and check the temperature, because too many of us are doing things the right way. We're doing the right things, we're doing it the right way, but we're doing it for the wrong reason, and that can also have a negative impact on the quality of the crop you're able to bear. One of the things I wanted to share when I was talking about light, and as the first thing that I had mentioned as, you know, what the seed needs, Zia's name is actually Arabic for light. Again, I understand the power of words. I want to raise a human being who brings light into this world. And whenever I say her name, I remember what it is that I have declared that I've given birth to is light. So when she has shine, I have to tell herself to stop shine, because she's what? Light. And when she starts to question whether or not she has authority to stand, to speak, to be, to exist, I need to remind her that she's what? Light. When she looks at the dark places and feels afraid to enter the dark places, I have to remind her that she's what? She's light. So darkness is calling her because she is light, and she must stand up in there. She must stand up in there and allow herself to be seen. Hide it under what bushel? No. Make it shine. You are what? Light. You are light. And don't water down yourself for nobody. For nobody feel comfortable, because you are light. Una like it when them see her come, walk with sunglasses and get them out. Get them out. And see shades there. See ribbons there. Put on that. I'm there and I'm light. You have to figure out how to deal with me. Me not gonna figure out how to deal with you. Me not gonna figure out how to hide myself so you can feel comfortable. Put see glasses here. See broad rim at ya. See hoodie here. See umbrella there. See bush shade there. Cause hide yourself, come not hide me. So that's the kind of name I give her. That's the kind of vision I have for her. That's the kind of confidence I want her to have, where she owns her authority to be authentically. So that's what Zia means, you know, and that's the power of light. And I want her to own that power of light. I want her to not be intimidated by other people's light and just understand, so when the whole of the light bulb them get up, all it means is that we're show about more darkness. All it means is we're give more light to the world. So I'm not have to compete. When your light turn on, mine not turn off, mine's still on. Mine's still on. You are go fluorescent and me I go solar power, that light same way. So, I mean, it's a whole thought process that went into naming her and continuously understanding what that means as a parent, to not, you know, cover down the light, but allow it to manifest itself authentically. Love and blessings, guys. Take care. Next